this beautiful brown transparent laundry bar soap with just 5 ingredients. Hi beautiful friends, welcome and I hope you're doing good. Today I'll be showing you how I made this beautiful clean soap. This laundry bar soap have a high cleansing property. You can make it for personal use or for sale. It's a good business idea. High profit. You can start making it today to earn money. And now, without wasting too much of your time, let's get down to business. By the way, before I forget, my name is Deborah from Eduma's Laundry Production, and before we proceed to our main training, I just want to make us know that our main purpose of teaching you guys here is to help you own a successful homemade business like us, so that in return, maybe you will choose to buy some chemicals and soap making equipment from us as well, because we don't just sell our soap and detergent, but we also sell soap making chemicals and equipment like the soap mold, table cutter, broom remover and soap stands as well. So if you need some, you can just message Johnson Job with the WhatsApp number displayed on the screen. Alright, let's get down to the business. To make this brown transparent laundry bar soap, also known as Kenu soap or Ghana brown soap, here are all the requirements. The first thing you need is a measuring scale, but if you don't have measuring scale, just tell them to measure your ingredients while getting it. And you start by measuring out your ingredients if you have your scale. So, the number one ingredient I have here is sugar. And for the sugar, I'll be using 270 grams of sugar. And after that, go on and dissolve the sugar. To dissolve the sugar, we are going to be using 300 ml of water to dissolve the sugar. For this production, what we are making now is called sugar solution. And to make your sugar solution, you need to make sure that you properly dissolve your sugar into the water. And being that sugar takes a little time to completely dissolve or to properly dissolve, we need to start with the sugar. So, measure out the sugar, pour it into your water, stir from time to time until it's properly dissolved. Or you can just move on to the next and allow it to dissolve on its own. And after that, you can go on and get your next ingredient. And for the second ingredient, I have tallow oil. I'll be using 1500 ml of tallow oil. This tallow oil is made with animal fat. You can make it on your own. I made this particular one myself. You can either produce your own tallow oil or you can buy it. And after measuring out your oil, at this stage, please make sure you are wearing your hand gloves and your nose masks. It's very important. And after that, go on and measure out the third ingredient, which is caustic soda, also known as sodium hydroxide. And for this, I'll be using 300 grams of caustic soda. Please remember to wear your hand gloves because caustic soda is highly corrosive. You wouldn't want it to touch your skin. Please be very safe when making your soap. And after measuring out your sodium hydroxide, go on and make your lye solution. Now, how to make your lye solution? All you need to do is to dissolve your caustic soda into your water. And now to dissolve 300 grams of caustic soda, I'll be using 750 ml of water. And this is how to make your lye solution. Go on and pour the caustic soda into the water. Please do not pour the water into the caustic soda. Remember, pour the caustic soda and do not pour the water into your caustic soda. And immediately after that, gently stir it to properly dissolve the caustic soda before going to the next. Now, this is a little secret to get a transparent soap. When making your lye solution, properly stir to get a clear translucent color like this before adding it into your oil. The lye solution should be very hot and we need it hot to make your soap better. So immediately after that, pour it into the oil and stir it properly to completely mix the oil and get your soap batter. So please be very fast. We need it to be very hot. So while making your soap batter or while mixing the oil and your lye solution, you need to be very fast. And immediately after you make your soap batter and get something like this, go on and cover it and then allow the soap to gel. Now what I mean by allowing the soap to gel is to allow the batter to heat up and get a jelly texture and translucent color. And this should take about 25 to 30 minutes. So all you need to do is to cover it properly, leave it in a warm place to gel, or if you are making your soap during the daytime, you can place it outside where there is sun and allow it to gel. And after that, you should have something like this or something better than this. Now you can see the top of the soap was not properly gel. Please allow your soap to gel properly before adding the next ingredient. But I will just go on and add the next ingredient, so don't be like me, allow it to properly gel. And then go on and add the next ingredient, which is ethanol. And for the ethanol, I will be using 750 ml of ethanol. Now as you can see, the soap batter in gel form, and we need to dissolve it, and we are going to dissolve it with ethanol. You are going to add the ethanol bit by bit. So when you add, you stir, you add, you stir until you add all the ethanol. But please be very fast and also stir it very well to dissolve the lumps and to also get a better result after production. You are going to add the ethanol bit by bit. Please do not add it at once. It's very important you add it bit by bit. So when you add, you stir, you add, you stir. I know why I'm repeating myself so that you can understand it well. And after adding the ethanol, go on and add the next ingredient, which is glycerin. For the glycerin, I will be using 150 ml of glycerin. The glycerin will also help to dissolve the lumps. So when you add, also make sure that you stir properly. So add and stir. So you add and stir until you add all the glycerin. And you also need to be very fast. And after adding the glycerin, go on and add the sugar solution that we made earlier. And please make sure that the sugar is properly dissolved. And after that, please mix it very well after adding the sugar solution, and then cover it. Now this is the reason you need to allow your soap to properly gel before adding the ingredient. You can see the heavy lumps in my soap, so please do not be like me. Allow your soap to properly gel before adding the ingredient, and after that cover it and allow the remaining lumps to dissolve. Now do this. You can either allow it to dissolve on its own, or you can use a double boiling method, which is what I'm using here. All you have to do is to boil water with your saucepan on a very low heat, and then place the bowl in the saucepan and allow the soap to properly dissolve. And when it's done, it's going to look like this. Although my soap was not properly dissolved because my light was disturbing me and my camera kept glitching. Honestly, at this point I was already frustrated, so I couldn't wait to get done with the video. I just had to go to the next process without allowing it to dissolve properly. So please allow your soap to properly dissolve before adding the next ingredient. It will give you a good result. By the way, are you not liking what you are seeing in this channel? If you do, please encourage us by clicking the like button on this video and also comment below to know what you think. Also, if you haven't subscribed already, please click on the subscribe button below and turn on the notification bell so you can get notified whenever we post future content like the one on our Edumas TV by Johnson Group. Now after that, go on and add fragrance. It's totally optional, you can do without it if you don't have fragrance, but it's very good to add fragrance because it helps to complement your soap. So for the fragrance, I used Japanese cherry fragrance, which is a very good fragrance. It smells really nice and I love it, so you can check it out. Now after that, mix it to combine it very well, and then you can go on and transfer your soap into your soap mold. Now can you see the little tiny lumps in my soap? Honestly, this made me really sad. So please, to avoid seeing lumps in your soap, allow it to properly dissolve before adding the fragrance. And then after that, go on and pour it into your soap mold, and you're going to see some bubbles of foams at the top of your soap. You can just scoop it out, or you can allow the soap to cure and then you can scrape it off. Now pour it into your soap mold, and just in case you don't have a soap mold, don't worry about it. That shouldn't be a barrier. You can just mold your soap with any plastic tub like this, or any plastic container or plate. In Nigeria we call it takeaway plate, so you can mold it with any takeaway plate. So all you need to do is to pour the soap like I did with the soap mold, and you can see the bubble on the top of the soap. You can either scoop it out, or you can allow the soap to cure, then you gently scrape it off. So I prefer to allow the soap to cure before removing it to avoid wasting the soap. So it's best to allow it to cure before scraping it off. So I will just leave it here for about 6 to 10 hours, and then I'll come back and show you the end result. And now boom, this is the end result. Like, can you see what we have here? Can you see how beautiful this turned out? I wasn't expecting it to come out this good after all the distractions. My phone kept glitching, like I wasn't expecting it to turn out this good, but thankfully it turned out really beautiful and smooth. I love it. I love everything about this soap. The fragrance especially, like, please try out that fragrance, Japanese cherry fragrance. Like, it's really very good to make laundry bar soap. It smells really good, and I would say that it really complements this soap. So I love it. Now this is the one we made with our soap mold. You can also see it came out really nice. So this is a really good production. Just follow exactly all the process and you're going to get a very quality and a very beautiful result. Now at this point, this is the point I don't like or enjoy at all: cotton soap. Honestly, cotton soap is not my favorite thing to do. Like, I find it really difficult. Growing up, my mom used to make soap for sale, and honestly I prefer to make the soap than to cut it. So then after making the soap, I just leave it for my mom or my sister to cut. But for the video purpose, I'll just cut the soap. But please bear with me. Now let's talk about the ingredients that we used earlier, starting from the oil. The oil I used for this production is called tallow oil, and it's a very good oil. You can use it to make skincare products, laundry bar soap, candle, and many more. So it's a very good oil that you can use to produce quality laundry bar soap. And in my number 2, I have caustic soda, which is an essential ingredient in making soap. Now, caustic soda is an important ingredient in soap making because it is used to create batter. Now, how is this done? When you mix your light solution into any oil or fat, it will lead to a chemical reaction called saponification, and that saponification is what we call the soap butter, and that makes it an essential ingredient in soap making. And now, in my number 3 list, I have sugar. Now, in this particular recipe, which is brown transparent laundry bar soap, sugar solution helps to create a more translucent effect to the soap and also add an extra ladder effect to the soap. And then in my 4th ingredient, we have ethanol. Now ethanol serves as a reactant or as a solvent for the reaction, being that we use oil or fat oil to produce the soap, and we allow the soap to gel before processing. To dissolve the soap, you need ethanol to properly dissolve it. You cannot use ordinary water because water does not go with oil. So that's the major purpose of using ethanol. And in my number 5 list, I have glycerin, and glycerin is used as a humectant in soap products. It helps to ensure that your skin will maintain its own moisture in order to protect it from damage caused by dryness. So it's also an important ingredient. Finally, I have fragrance, which is totally optional. You can do without the fragrance, and the fragrance is just for scent, and that is all about the ingredient. And now let's check the soap and see how translucent. Now to test your soap, this is how to know if you got the translucent color. just use your phone light, or you can just go under the sun and then try seeing the light from the soap. Now you can see that the light passed through the soap. You can see that the light from the other side of the soap. This is to say that we successfully succeeded in creating a brown transparent laundry bar soap, and this is what we have now. Let me go ahead and show you how you can scrape it off when you have foam on top of your soap. So if you have the foam on top of your soap, just gently use your knife to scrape it off. Do not go deep to avoid wasting the soap. And after your soap is ready, it's time to sell and make money, or it's time to use it and do your laundry. Now let me go ahead and test it, and let's see if our laundry bar soap lathers. Now this is another reason you should learn how to cut your soap. If you did not cut your soap well while using it to do your laundry, you are going to feel it in your hand. So if you don't know how to cut your soap, just tell someone to help you and cut it very well. Do not be like me. Learn to cut your soap. Now you can see our soap lathers very well, and you can see the shape of the soap. Learn to cut your soap. It's very important, especially if you are making it for sale. Now, how to store this soap? Being that we added glycerin to this soap, please, you need to store it with a plastic top, or store it with a ziplock. To store it with a plastic top, or store it with a ziplock bag like this. Or if you are making it for sale, you can seal it with any cling film bag or any nylon. It is very important that you do this to preserve the soap. So friends, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video, but before that, stay blessed and keep loving one another, and I love you. Bye friends.